I have an issue with the fact that Steve Bannon has relentlessly gone after Pope Leo XIV. Um, ever since Pope Leo XIV walked out on the loggia. And just take a listen to him and this crazy boomer lady, and we'll talk about it in a moment or two.
You've got kind of a blockbuster clip you pulled. Brian saying, and I think Ben agrees with me. The first order of business should be to open up and let the world see the secret deal with the Chinese Communist Party, and then repudiate it. You've got some breaking news on this topic, ma'am.
Hold on a second before we get into this. The problem with Bannon, and I'm doing this out of charity. I'm not trying to, cause smoke. Bannon is trying to run or trying to view the Vatican through American politics. We need to see this right now. Open it up. Let's see this stuff. Get the executive orders going. It's not how the Vatican works, man. Pope Leo's got to get his feet set. He's got to get his people in place before he can do any of this stuff. All right. He's not going to go to the whims of what Steve Bannon and this crazy I don't even know if this lady's Catholic. This crazy boomer lady who's going to be screeching in a couple minutes.
Steve, today we find out from the Chinese Cardinal Chao that Prevost has been to China several times.
First of all, that's disrespectful. His name is Pope Leo XIV, woman. Say it correctly. He is Pope Leo XIV. And your explosive interview is that he's been to China. You have accused the Holy Father of traveling.
I mean, why weren't we told that beforehand?
Because it's not your prerogative, lady. You don't get a friggin' vote. You don't get a vote in this. This is not America. This is the Universal Catholic Church. Okay? And they're talking about the chair of St. Peter. And they have is the Vatican perfect? No, it is not infallible. The Catholic Church is infallible. Unfortunately, the dudes who run it are very fallible. But they do not need to answer to you, crazy boomer lady. And they do not need to lay this stuff out to you, crazy boomer lady. Because this is not America. This is the universal church. And the way they talk about this is just nuts. I'm sorry, but blank you. Forget you.
I thought this was a poor Peruvian missionary bishop who has just been appointed cardinal. We find he's gone to China several times.
Oh my gosh. This just in, ladies and gentlemen, a cardinal has traveled to a different place.
Did China, the CCP, give their imprimatur to this man as Pope?
By the way, Cardinal Zen, and we'll talk about this in the morning. Cardinal Zen hasn't said anything about this, and I'll talk about Cardinal Zen in a moment. What do you think the Chinese would love? This Chinese cardinal, we don't know if this is the cardinal that was approved by the CCP, right? She's neglecting to mention this. So this Chinese cardinal is leaking this information to crazy boomer lady. CBL. They've leaked it to CBL here. And what does CBL do? CBL runs to Steve Bannon to undermine the Holy Father. He said this. Is this the CCP one that wants you to run and undermine the Holy Father? Maybe nobody has thought of this. Nobody has thought that maybe the Chinese cardinal doesn't like the selection of Pope Leo XIV and ergo is leaking this information to undermine his papacy? No, because these people think of everything in the lens of the two-party politics system.
And Cardinal Chao has said that the new Pope, Pope Leo, will follow in the path of Pope Francis in supporting the deal.
Once again, just like Anthony Stein has said, whether it's the synod or whether it's this or whether it's that, every cardinal is scrambling to put their stamp on he said he's going to do this. We hope he's going to do that. He said he's going to do synodally. He said he's going to do ecumenical. He said, Can we let the Holy Father be the Holy Father? I know the guys if you watch this show over and over again, you're hearing me say this over and over again, but this has to be said. lady, the Pope Leo XIV doesn't have 100 days. It's not like a first 100 days of the papacy where he has to show you what he's going to do. Not how this works.
Secret deal that has caused widespread destruction throughout China, not only through the Catholic Church, but also through Christianity. I mean, Steve, this is blockbuster.
No, it's not.
American Catholics around the world should know if this man has been to China several times, is sympathetic to Chinese rule, and the fact that this deal is absolutely the worst possible deal. There is no justification for it. It not only must be revealed immediately, day one, week one of this pontiff.
It's not how it works, Liz. Crazy boomer lady. She may be awesome, but she's 100% wrong on this one. She is so out of bounds on this one. It's not even funny. So I'm done with her. He needs to show us day one. He doesn't need to show you nothing. He doesn't need to show you anything. So we're going to get rid of that. Let's bring this on. This was a timely post that was brought up on X today. So Alex Salvi, who's gotten some really good stuff from inside the Vatican. The Red Scare at the Conclave. The arrival of a vocal China dissident and his fellow cardinals on the edge of their seats as he was expected to challenge the papal frontrunner. Who was the person everybody was worried about? Somebody mentioned it in the chat. Pietro Parolin. He is the architect of the China deal. He is the architect. He is the one that you needed to be frightened of. Maybe they sent Pope Leo XIV several times to China at the behest of Cardinal Parolin to get things done. Just because they sent him somewhere doesn't mean he was acting of his own accord. The Vatican may have sent him there to do things. And as a cardinal or as a person who works within, as a member of the Catholic Church in the hierarchy, if the Pope says, I need you to go to China to do this, you can't be like, I'm not going to do that. I don't think it's a good idea. You're going to say, yes, Holy Father, I'll go. Whatever you need me to do, I'll go take care of it. But Parolin was the architect of the deal between the Vatican and the Chinese Communist Party. Cardinal Joseph Zen of Hong Kong, which, by the way, Liz has decided not to speak about. There's only apparently one Chinese cardinal in all of China. All of China, there's only one cardinal in all of China. That's it. There's only one. There's only one China. And apparently that's the only one we're going to listen to. The only one that we're going to listen to. But Cardinal Zen comes out and he wanted to speak to the congregation of cardinals that was already underway. Now, of course, they already tried to do this. He was allowed to go. He showed up there. Details of Pope Francis's 2018 agreement with China remain undisclosed to this day, but it's largely understood that the deal gave the CCP the authority to appoint its own bishop, with the Vatican retaining veto power over the selection. So my question is this. The cardinal that Liz Yore is describing, is that one under this deal? Is that one under this deal? The two sides extended the agreement in 2024 for another 4 years. Once again, Pope Leo XIV had nothing to do with any of this. That was Pedro Parolin, and everybody was scared that when he was going to get elected, it was going to be cemented. China broke off relations with the Holy See in 1981. Anyway, Zen has been an outspoken critic of the agreement since the beginning. He warned the deal ceded too much power to Beijing and came at the detriment of persecuted Christians. So he showed up in Rome. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why'd you do that? Okay. So he showed up in Rome. And he went to the congregation of the cardinals because he couldn't vote, but he could speak. And he decided to make a statement, but he didn't talk about the CCP. He said, before making my remarks, I ask for forgiveness as I cannot speak on certain matters and must maintain the utmost discretion in my conduct. So who stepped up? Cardinal Burke. This is the big point. Liz Yore is screaming to the high heavens about this. And somebody mentioned, well, Cardinal Zen didn't say much. Cardinal Zen didn't say anything about this. Cardinal Zen had Cardinal Raymond Burke, and who was a big supporter of Pope Leo XIV, who essentially gave his blessing so the conservatives could vote for Pope Leo XIV. Raymond Burke gave his blessing to this. Raymond Burke of the United States, who raised the issue on the final day. He decried the abandonment of Christians in China in the aftermath of the agreement, condemned the lack of transparency behind the negotiation and terms, and called out Parolin by name for his involvement in the deal. It was one of the final messages the cardinal electors would hear before they went home that evening, before the beginning of the conclave. Why am I talking about all this? Because Liz Yore just went on a 3-minute screed about how Provost, he went to China several times. Yet 5 seconds of stupid Rick Barrett on X finding a post says Raymond Burke brought up the agreement to the entire college. It was one of the last speeches. Raymond Burke gave his stamp of approval to Pope Leo XIV, and we don't know, and we hope that Pope Leo XIV, he can't do anything until 2024 anyway. The agreement was extended until in 2024, so we don't know anything. Now, Pope Leo XIV could bring it up, and he could say, I'm not going to continue this. But I think Pope Leo XIV is too smart to not bring it up, because that would give him a negative position in negotiations with the Chinese. If he comes out and he says all this stuff, the Chinese are very reactionary. And guess what? They could probably persecute even more Christians than they do now. If he keeps low and he works back channels between all this stuff, maybe he can work out a better agreement to remove this whole thing. But no, we want to do everything America style. We want to do everything now. First 100 days, hit the ground, show me these things, write the executive orders. Why did you travel here? What's going on? Shut up. Shut your mouth, please. No, I'm nice. I said please. Steve Bannon, day one, him and Jack Posebic had this whole thing about deep money with China, and that, like, they have relentlessly attacked Pope Leo XIV, relentlessly attacked without evidence. Now you're going to put this one cardinal's name on it, yet there's more than one cardinal in China. And I can tell you for a fact that Cardinal Zen has not said anything negative about Pope Leo XIV, or not said anything about the fact that Pope Leo has traveled anywhere. I can tell you that the Chinese love propaganda, and that the Chinese would love to have the American media attack the first American Pope. But we are too stupid in our race for clicks, and I am trying to say this in the most charitable way. I apologize if this comes off as if I'm angry, because we're not giving the Holy Father a chance. Because we are literally running. We are running with Chinese propaganda at this point. When I can tell you Raymond Burke supported Leo XIV, and Raymond Burke brought up the China deal to make sure Parolin didn't get picked, so this deal could actually get knocked out. We all know the stories about how Prevost, before he became Pope Leo XIV, as a cardinal, met with Raymond Burke and a bunch of other people. I'm sure this was mentioned. What are your thoughts on this? And the fact that they are so quick to cast doubts on Pope Leo, it just makes me really, it makes me frustrated, because what are you doing? What benefit, what gain do you get here by attacking the Holy Father? It's Francis derangement syndrome. And so that's my response. Sorry, Liz, you came off as a screeching lunatic today. You did. And it's a shame that you had to run with this instead of doing 5 more minutes of research. 5 more minutes of, okay, well, this cardinal's saying this. Can somebody find Cardinal Zen? Can we get a statement from Cardinal Zen about this? What about Prevost? Oh, it looks like I'm doing some research. It looks like Cardinal Burke mentioned this before the conclave. Can we reach out to Cardinal Burke and see what Cardinal Burke says? His knowledge about this. Can we do a little bit more research before we run over and start screeching with our hair on fire about something? Viva Pope Leo XIV. And until he does something otherwise, and even then, I'll still pray for the Holy Father. This is Rick Cass. Like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. I told you this is going to be a Pope Leo XIV Stan account, and I am continuing to do so proudly. Don't attack the Holy Father unless you have one. Traveling to China is not an indictment that he will support the China deal. It's not anywhere, shape, or form.